I feel like I'm others' slave. So how do I stop doing this? In this video, I want to share my experience about this feeling of someone else's slave and how I overcame it, because it certainly played a big role in my life and stopped me being happy and doing the things that I wanted. So how free do you feel? Do you do things that you want? Do you follow your heart? Or do you find yourself pleasing others or making them happy or putting them first? Some of you might think, well, I don't feel a slave. Don't be so ridiculous, Martin. Why are you answering such a stupid question? So how free do you really feel? Because as I found out, you're more than a slave than you think you are. Because the problem is you've become conditioned to be a slave and you think things that are happening are normal. Why would you question them? So how does it feel to be a slave? I've just mentioned a few of the things that I experienced, and that was having to please others, afraid others are going to put you down, frightened people will judge you or talk behind your back. Others have an expectation of you, and unless you fulfill that, how does it feel? Well, you're probably worried that they're going to tell you off, punish you, do something against you. And what I found was that I was constantly trying to preempt what it was that others wanted of me. Unless I did that, I couldn't feel happy. So, in other words, I was their slave. Why would I do that? Why would I be a slave? Because, of course, I was afraid of being hurt. I was afraid of being rejected. I was afraid of being alone. I was afraid of having no one around me. And because those fears are so strong, this is why I was their slave. Think about this. I'm not sure about your childhood, but mine was really challenging. And for the most part, I lived in terrible fear, as I've shared in other videos. The experience was that I was forever worrying about being punished, pushed away, forgotten, rejected. And I became conditioned to that. And that's all I could think of. When was the next time that I will be abused? When was the next time that my parents would reject me? So I built this idea in my mind that I was bad and I always had to be good or try to be good. Try to be obedient, try to do what they wanted. As it is, I didn't really know what they wanted, but that's a topic of another video. The main thing was that I learned that other people will have expectations of you. Other people will have their point of view of you. You don't matter. And as long as you fulfill other people's expectations, you'll get along fine. So when they say jump, I jumped. And that was very painful for a long time, until such time that I learned about why I was doing it. Like I said earlier on, This is learned behavior. It's not something that you would deliberately choose because it doesn't make any sense. In fact, having this experience is very uncomfortable, as I'm sure you know. So what is the real pain or barrier in this experience of feeling you're someone else's slave? Because for me, it felt that I couldn't be my own person, that I had worries about what others thought of me. Because if I started to do things for myself, what would the repercussions be? What would other people think of me, or what would other people do? And that was a lot of pain because I wanted to be free, yet I couldn't, or I couldn't allow myself to be free. I was always entrapped in what others wanted or what I thought others wanted. A great example is needing their approval. And that's really painful, even as I think about it now, that I spent so much of my life thinking what I do is not good enough. And I need other people's approval to make sure it's okay. So how do I overcome this? What did I do to learn to stop feeling like this? Part of that journey, as I've shared, is realizing it's happening. That actually take a closer look at your responses and your behaviors and what you say to people. You'll probably find in amongst those interactions with people, you'll be following pretty much what they want. You'll be concerned about what they think of you. See that as a flag, a red flag. See that as a sign that something isn't right here. Something that you could look into and change. Because being someone's slave is a trap. It doesn't have to be. The crazy thing is we allow it. And we only allow it because we've been taught. Because if we misbehave or if we don't follow suit, we feel guilty. We feel ashamed. We're going to be rejected. And this is the thing. Could you cope with that? Could you stand up for yourself and accept someone is going to be unhappy? Because until you can, then you're going to remain a slave. I'm not suggesting that you take them on or this becomes a fight. What I'm suggesting is that you follow your heart, that you listen to yourself and say, no, I'm not buying into it. Whatever they accuse you of, as if you're selfish, for example, or you think of yourself, realize that isn't true. Realize it's just what they think. Realize that it's a habit. And certain habits can be changed. Certain habits need to be changed. So the first step really is recognizing you're doing it. And then asking yourself, am I serving them, really? Or how can I serve me? How can I take care of me without feeling the fear or worry about what they might do? That's the difference. That's what gets you out of this experience of being someone's slave. So in this video, we've talked about the experience of feeling like you're someone's slave, that you're in a trap. We know what that feels like because it's uncomfortable, because you're trying to please people, because you're worried about what they think. Yet, if we're going to break that cycle, or if we're going to break that habit, we have to do something different. We need to look at why we do it, how we do it, how we are their slave. And like I say, we need to be able to break the cycle and be ready for some of their disappointment, some of their attack on you, a feeling of guilt, a feeling of ashamed. If you can accept that that might happen, then you become freer and freer. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. So thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this and want to learn more about emotions and overcoming problems, consider subscribing. If you relate and want to share or leave a comment, that would be great, and that would reach other people and inspire them. And also, the quickest and easiest way for you to get help is to message me or email me. I look at all of my messages daily, and I'll get back to you very, very soon. Thanks for watching.